What's up, Prop Mob? I'm Eduardo Talbert and this is Monster Tutorials. So today is not really a tutorial, it's more like a demo. This is the mask that I made at Monster Camp last weekend, right? So I did a vlog, I videoed my trip over there, and I wanted to start the vlog with the introduction showing the mask and then close the vlog showing also the mask. But I didn't want to go just, here's the mask. I wanted to put it like in some sort of creepy context and just show it in all its glory. So that's what I'm doing today. So what I was thinking was adding some eyes. So there's on a foam head, right? I've marked the eyes. I have a bag of eyes. One of the viewers of the channel, his name is Don, has been sending me a couple of times boxes with eyes. And these are like almost like, I mean, they are like Hollywood quality eyeballs. Can you see that? They're like perfect, beautiful resin acrylic eyeballs. I'm gonna use that on this little dude here. The way that I'm going to do that is I strap the mask the way it's supposed to go on the face, and with a Sharpie, wherever it is, I marked a X where the eye has to go so that they're centered when I put them, okay? Then for this nasty looking mouth, I'm going to do a tongue, okay? So the tongue is going to stick out, but it's not just going to stick out, it's going to stick out and back in, almost like an animatronic. So that's what I'm doing today. Join me. Like I said, it's not a tutorial. I am kind of hacking this with bits and pieces of stuff that I have laying around the house. And this is all to get the one shot for the beginning of the Monster Camp vlog. And the Monster Camp vlog, if you haven't seen it, is linked below. It was 3 days, which I divided into 2 videos. So they're linked below. Check it out. Monster Camp was awesome. We started from scratch and ended up with masks like this one. Each one of the students ended up with their own mask, their own design, and all the designs were awesome. And the teacher, blow your mind, Alan is beyond good with this mask making. Okay, so let's get started and get this thing even nastier than it already is. Here, give it a kiss. The first thing I did was select some cool eyes, and I went and tore up my witch, which had some really cool diseased eyes, and I thought those were pretty cool, so I pulled them out to see which would be the best option. At the end of the day, I ended up selecting the nice zombie dead eyes. I think they matched the mask pretty cool. The next thing I did was measure the eyes right where that X was placed. So I just cut a little hole that fit the eyes and kept taking the foam out until the eyes fit as snug as possible. So then I lined them up with the mask and adjusted the mask just a little bit. For the tongue, I started with a piece of clay, and then I cut a little piece, and it was a little too big, so I cut it in half. Then I rolled that into a long like snake, and then I started sculpting it like a tongue by smoothing it with the sculpting tools. For the taste buds, I added with a needle some little holes, and then I smoothed it out. The next thing I did is I built a box for the mold, and that was just a hot glued cardboard on a plastic tray. The next thing I did is I mixed some plaster with water until it was a nice consistency. Then I mixed it with my hand and took a chip brush and started very gently painting over the tongue sculpture. That was so that the detail is preserved. Then I started very gently dripping some more plaster onto it, and then I filled it up all the way until it was covered all around. I let the mold dry overnight, but being my first mold, I was bound to forget something, and I forgot to put mold release on this thing, so right now it's pretty stuck to the tray. So that came off pretty easy right there, so maybe the rest will come off easily. Let's see the bottom. Ah, there it is. Alright, so I need to get this clay out of there. At Monster Camp they give you this cool set of tools. They're all sculpting tools, so it doesn't include some of this stuff. But it includes all that stuff, so I'm going to find a tool here to start scooping this clay out of there very gently so we don't scrape the plaster mold. Sometimes you're lucky and it'll start pulling up all as one piece. So in that case, just gently pull it out. There you go. There, that one came out all the way. This just throw away. There is the mold. I'm gonna go wash this, a little bit of water and a toothbrush, and set it to dry all the way. That is perfectly clean, so I'm gonna let it dry all the way. I'm gonna set this to dry. It's gonna take a while, about an hour. Hey Siri, set a timer for 1 hour.
Okay, your timer is set for 1 hour.
I'm just trying to get that latex to make a skin, so the plaster will absorb the moisture from the latex and leave the rubber there. We're going to pour that out in about an hour. So right now, let's take care of this guy. So I made some markings here, and I need to cut this out of this face, right here below the eyes. Okay, so I need to cut that out, and that is to mount my secret mechanism for the automaton thing. All right, this little toothpick is where the tongue comes out in the mask. I'm gonna take my new hot wire foam factory foam cutting tool, the knife, the industrial knife, and we're going to cut that perfect shape right there. I don't have enough room here, so I'm just going to cut this whole chin off. Perfect. Let's talk about this. This is just a little motor. There's a link to it down in the description, because I'm going to be using these guys for animatronics and animated props. Okay, so I ordered a bunch of them, like 5 of them, just to test, and they work awesome. They are low RPM. They turn maybe like 6 times per minute, 6 to 10 times, which means like 1 every 10 seconds. So it's really slow. It's really cool for like opening coffins and closing slowly, so it doesn't spin full speed. And that's what I thought I would use for this guy. So I'm going to mount it on the roof here, and this right here, see if I can get into focus. It's just like one of those cable brackets that you nail to the wall to hold the cables, and I flattened it. Put a screw here on the main shaft of the motor. Okay, this is just a connector, electrical crimp connector, but I took the metal piece out because I needed something to space this thing away from this metal piece here. This is just a pin, and this is just a screw that fits on the top, and it's loosely tied so that this swings around. That's what I'm going to mount to this head right here. So it's going to go like this. Okay. Mind you, this is my first time doing something like this, so The idea will be to take something like these nails right here and just slide it through there with glue and mount this motor to the roof. I'm going to let this dry. Here's the piece we just unmolded. Okay, so I took the metal piece and slid it in there so it's nice and solid, and that's going to connect there. So if you have guessed it already, this is a tongue. So what I'm going to do is paint it with red nail polish and then with clear nail polish. This guy is nice and painted, nice and gross. I'm going to put a coat of this clear nail polish over it. So while I do this, I wanted to thank you for watching monster tutorials, and if you like what we're doing here, go ahead and subscribe. I'll give you a little time to subscribe while I paint over this guy. Go ahead and hit that button if this is something you like. That looks nice and wet, huh? Alright, other side. And we should be done. I'm gonna let this dry and we should be done, and it'll be time to assemble the mask. Here's the head with the motor in it, and I've taped the cable down here and it goes to an RCA. Okay, that RCA connects into this little box that goes into a power adapter. So this cord over here goes to a power adapter, 12 volts. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the eyes exactly where I want them. I'm going to put a drop of hot glue on the side just to hold it in place because these guys are wobbling a little too much. Make sure it's not cross-eyed, so that one's looking at you. I mean, this one's looking at you, but this one's looking out. So while that glue gun gets hot, let's get the tongue, this guy, and install it. And it just goes down here. See this little loop? Slides in there, and it's a screw. It'll be easier if this motor is out here, so let me turn it real quick using the power adapter. There you go. Easy as cake. Alright, our disturbing tongue is attached. Now I just need the glue gun and we can put this mask on and see how this turned out. Let's get the mask on. I'm putting some silicone lubricant here, right where the tongue's gonna come through, just so that the latex, the sticky latex, doesn't hang in there and break the prop. I gotta bring the tongue all the way in again. There, stop. It's the moment of truth. Alright. Wow, that is quite disturbing there. Gotta strap this guy. Alright, I'm going to show you fully assembled, but I'll give you a sneak peek. You ready? Alright, that is so disturbing. There you go. That should make for a really scary and creepy prop. So, I'm going to leave you here. The next shots you're going to see is the fully assembled prop, which I'm just going to mount on the dress form with a PVC pipe holding the head up, maybe a hood over its head. I might trim some of this around the eyes because as you can see they're not lining up perfectly. See the eyes. Look at those eyes. Look at those beautiful peepers there. I need to align it a little bit, so I might use some hot glue to hold it in place. And I'll assemble it and I'll show you what it looks like. So I'm Eduardo Talbert. This is Monster Tutorials. You and me, we are all prop mob. See you next time.